Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining me with today's webinar. So the webinar today is focused around online bookings and prepayments. So I'm helping you to fill up your appointment book. My name's Jonathan. I'm a coach here at Shortcuts. I've been with the company for about 2.5 years. Before that, I was a hairdresser and a salon manager. So I have a little bit of insight into sort of using the online booking feature as a salon manager with Shortcuts as well. So I'm going to be sharing some of that knowledge with you today. So hopefully you can hear me. The duration of this webinar should be around 30 minutes. My microphone is on. Everyone else has been automatically muted, but you will find in the top right corner of your monitor a chat box. So please feel free to use that chat box to pop over any questions. Now, there will be a lot of information today, so feel free to take any notes. But don't worry, there will be an email going out at the end of this session to anyone that's attended, along with a recording of this webinar as well, if you want to watch this webinar again. So remember that your speakers must be turned on to hear this webinar. So if someone wants to just tell me that they can hear me, that then puts my mind at rest that I'm not just talking to myself this morning. So if someone wants to just write something in that, yes, thank you. Thanks, Emma. Thank you very much. So like I said, the recording of this session will be circulated, and at the end, there will be the Q&A. So please use that box that you can see in that top right corner. So now that I know I'm not talking to myself and everything's working, we'll get started. So what we're going to do, and we're going to be covering how online booking helps to keep an accurate client register and why you need to actually do that, how to set up and use your online booking in Shortcuts. We're going to be looking at your contactless payment and how our upfront payments feature will help you, and how to promote your online booking and fill up your appointment book. So how are you all? So, it's a bit of a crazy world at the moment. Everything's changing. So depending on which industry you're in, and also depending in which state you're in, the messages we're getting can be a little bit confusing when we're watching the news. We don't really know what's going on. So we do recommend that you always pay attention to your own state legislation and requirements. What are the things you will sort of get from every single state is the fact that you need to be recording properly and have up to date all your clients' details. So there is a government 3-step plan, but like I say, the dates all depend on the state that you're in. So step 1 will be for hairdressers and barbershops can still be open as they are now, but you must be recording all your clients' details. So this also applies to any barbers or hairdressers that do walk-ins. You need to be obviously taking a record of all those clients that have been in. During step 1 as well, beauty therapy and massage, unless it's remedial, saunas and tattoo parlors remain closed. During step 2, hairdressers, barbershops again will continue to be open. Now, there will be some changes then to beauty therapy and massage therapy venues, tattoo parlors, for example. Should be able to open with around 20 clients in the premises, but again, recording those clients' details, saunas and bathhouses will remain closed. With step 3, a continuation of step 2, but with more people allowed in the venue. But again, recording those clients' details. So keeping that COVID-19 register. So you must keep a register of every client that has had an appointment with you. So how's the best way to prepare for that? So Shortcuts has a number of features to help you track client appointments and stay compliant. So as I said before, the focus for today is your online booking and upfront payments. So online booking is the quickest and easiest way to ensure you're keeping an accurate client register. It takes the guesswork out of it and automates the record keeping process for you, simplifies the booking process for your clients, but at all times you are obviously in control. Upfront payments ensures your clients are paying in advance for their booked appointments. So hopefully this then will practically eliminate no-shows and also gives you that security that, if someone does no show or cancels on the last minute, you have that upfront payment there, which you could obviously use then as a cancellation fee for you. It's going to create a safer workspace with zero cash handling or FPOS machine being needed in the salon. So together, the upfront payments and online booking generates business and revenue while keeping you COVID safe. So getting your Shortcuts Fusion, that's your desktop version, ready for online bookings. This is a little recap. So I'm just going to show you this now, and then we'll come back to this after I've just shown you in Shortcuts a little bit about where you need to go to get yourself ready. So services must be available on the web. That's the web column. You're going to tick those services on, the ones that you want to be showing and to be available for your clients to book. What I'd love you to do is to double check everything. So make sure that all your spelling is correct, your timings, your pricings, the break time, which would be a development time for those of you in the hairdressing industry as well. And also trying to use terminology that isn't so technical. It's okay for us in the industry when we look at, the names of some of these categories and services. They make sense to us, but do they make sense to the client? So make sure that, there's no sort of ambiguity or there's going to be any sort of misunderstanding on the part of the client. Now, for certain industries, you're going to need to book in sanitization time. So the best way to do that is to use our finishing block feature. I'll just quickly show you that as well. Make sure when you go into your employee cards that their alias is correct, because it's the alias that the client's going to see when they're booking online. And just to double check that spelling and to ensure that that employee is actually ticked on available for online booking. You're probably going to need to set up your rosters. Resources, if you need the resources, so that is maybe a machine or a room that you need to conduct that treatment. Set up your capabilities. Your capabilities will mean that if there's a variation of capabilities within your team, you don't want the clients online booking the service in with the wrong person, so they're not able to do that actual service. We need to make sure that the correct services are booked in with the correct people. Even if you do have online booking already, now is a really good time to be double checking that all these settings are correct. There's a couple of features in the sort of settings in the back end that I do want you to double check that are actually enabled. So that is one that's going to check for duplicate clients, and the other one to update your client details to making sure that they are always up to date. So I'm just going to pull that one out of the way. So here is my Fusion database. So I'm just going to log in. So the first place I'm going to take you to is to have a look at the services. So we're going to go to the navigation panel on the right hand side, come down to the bottom right corner and click on our setup tab. So you've got some options there in that setup tab. So about halfway down, you can see that handshake. So that's for the services. So we're just going to click on that one. Now you can see that down the left-hand side are our service categories. So I've set them up here. So they're very easy for the client to know what sort of services are going to be sitting within those categories. Now, every service has some information attached to it. So across the top here, we have our columns. So we've got our price, time, break, whether it's available for online booking. Obviously, it's going to be active. I popped in the column here for capabilities. So that's just so you can double check that when you do set your capabilities up, each service is within one of those capability categories. And there's a description as well. So the description shows for online bookings. If you want to pop in there some extra information around that service, maybe it's a package and you want to sort of let the client know exactly what they're going to be booking, please write some information in the description column. Now, if you've got different columns up here at the top and you're wondering how you're going to change those, anywhere across the top here, just right click on your mouse. What you'll see is a little window here with all the columns that you could have. So I've got rid of the classes. I don't need those for this particular business that I'm looking at, but I did bring in this extra one here that says capabilities. So just have a little look at which information you feel is sort of relevant to you and your business, and get rid of the ones that you don't need. Otherwise, there might be just too much information on here for you that you don't really need to be looking at. So I'm just going to open up one of these categories. I'm going to open up the cutting. So you can see here we have a ladies cut style, and we move across, and there's our capability. So that sits within the capability. That means that any employee I've sort of entered into that capability category in the cutting and styling, they will be available for that client to be able to book that service. So if I just move down to color, you can see there's a different capability category there for color. And I'll just open, say, eye treatments, and then you can see we've got eye and face treatments. So I'm going to be going through that again with you in a second anyway. So what the client sees will be your capability, your service category heading. So they will see cutting, they'll open that up and they will see the names of your services there. So just to make sure that they, like I said, are very easy for the client to understand and book. Now, if you have already your services set up and you're needing to add a second block, which is a temporary block, you're going to need to open up your service category. So let's just say we're going to open up body treatments there. And with a massage, we need that sanitation time afterwards. So if I just open up the little plus symbol there, which means that can extend. The name of the service here is 30-minute massage, but what appears in your appointment book is the service block. So that's this one next to the red dot there. So you can see we have a 30-minute massage, that's it. So what we need to be doing is bringing in another service attached to this service that will be a finishing block. So if we just go down to details, just to the bottom right corner of my main screen here next to the done button, there's a little spanner. I'm going to click on details. So there's the service name at the top. The first block is what's appearing in the appointment book. And then we need to create a second block. So let's just call this sanitation. Over to the right-hand side, my appointment book is set up on 15-minute increments. So if yours is 10, you might want to go and pop in here 10 minutes. Otherwise, it might be 15. So I'm just going to pop in there 15 minutes for that extra service. I need to move across and put a value in each of these empty boxes. So we don't need any of those to have a value in them. Now over to the far right hand side, you can see there's two columns, there's a main and a finish. What we always need to do for a finishing block is actually tick that square checkbox there that says finish. Now the reason for this is if a client books only one service, that sanitation block will be there. If a client books several services, so they might book 3, there won't be a finishing block for each of those services. That the service will replace the finishing block. On the first service, there'll be the third service that they're booking in will replace that finishing block on the second service. So what you end up is with 3 actual services is what you're used to having. You will see that, but the finishing block will then only be attached to the very last service. So you're not having 3 separate finishing blocks, if that makes sense. There's quite a bit to make sense of today, so hopefully that will be okay. Like I said, everything's going to be sent out to you afterwards as well. We've got all those videos on our website related to all the features I'm going to be showing you today as well. So that's how you can quickly set up your finishing block. I'm just going to come down to done. Now, if I open up that 30-minute massage, you'll now see that there are 2 red dots there. All right, just remember that that sanitation block is a temporary block and will only exist on the last of the services that is booked in by the client. So that's just to ensure that you do have that time available for you to go around and clean up and sanitize any areas where the client has been. So just going to click on done down at the bottom. Next place I'm going to take you is into your employee card. So still on the right hand side, you can see the employee option there. Now, just to have a little look, we have Aaron in our drop-down box. If I just click in that drop-down box in the top left corner, you can see all your employees there. So what we need to do with Aaron is just come down to the right-hand corner where we can see a box entitled there, appointment book. We just need to make sure that underneath the checkbox here is available for online booking. That's all you really need to do in here other than check the name of the alias. If you do need to change the name of the alias, down at the bottom, there's a pencil with the word edit underneath. If we just click on edit, you'll be able to change the alias. So that's the name in the drop-down box. That's what the client's going to see in the online booking. Don't worry about the picture. The client won't be seeing the picture on the online booking platform. They only see that in the app. So don't worry if you've got other pictures in there, the client won't be seeing those unless they have a look and book through the app. So I'm going to click on Done again. Now we're going to have a little look at your rosters. So over on the right-hand side, underneath Tools, you have the option there for rostering. So if I just click on rosters, you can see that I have my rosters in here. I'm not actually going to show you how to create a roster in this webinar. If I went through everything you need to do, it would be quite a long webinar. So again, you're going to take this in bite-sized chunks yourself when you're setting up for your own online booking, and you're going to be checking the videos that we have in that email. But the rosters you will find inside Tools and then Roster. Just click on Done again. Now back to Setup in the bottom right corner there. You'll also need to have a look at your resources. So I've set these up already so you can have an idea of what this should be looking like. So I click on Resources. Now in the top left corner, you'll notice there are two tabs. Now I'm going to click on Resources tab, and these are the resources that I have. Now these might be machines, a Derma machine, IPL machine, whatever it might be. But I've set these up as rooms, so you can see I have my treatment rooms there and a spray tan room. Give them all colors because that color is a little line that appears on the actual appointment that's booked in the appointment book. Just going to click on the other tab. And then what we do, we create our resource categories. And then we use these two buttons down at the bottom that say resource and service to add into that resource category the services that I want to be in there, and then the resource that is going to be used for that. So if I just open up services there for facials, you see I've got 4 facials in there, and they can be done in rooms 1 to 4. So this just ensures that when the client is booking online, that the treatment goes into the correct resource. Click on Done. Now, very similar setup in capabilities. So just on the right-hand side, I'm going to click on capabilities. This time, instead of resources, we have employees. So we're going to set it up your services in a very similar way. So in terms of who is capable of actually doing a color in your salon. So we're going to open that up. And you can see we'll have a list of employees and a list of services. So when we create the color, we go down to new in the bottom left corner. That will create a new capability. You've got the red dot, that means that there's nothing inside there at the moment. Then we go down to services at the bottom of the screen. When we click on the services there, you just choose which services are going to go within that capability category. And we add them to the right-hand side by clicking the done button there in the middle. And then we do the same for the employees if you want to add the employees from this screen. If you want, you can actually add the employees once you've set up all your capability categories and you've added all the services, remembering that a service can only really appear in one category. So try not to put services in multiple categories because that can get confusing. If we click on employees over on the right-hand side, you will notice down at the bottom of the screen here, we have capabilities. So once you've set up all your capabilities, if you just set them up on the right-hand side, only to include the services, you can then click on capabilities underneath the correct therapist or stylist. And then you can choose then what they are capable of doing. When you click on those capability categories and you click add, Aaron now will be available for those extra services on the right hand side, or at the moment he's just capable of doing those 3 that you can see on the right hand side there. So that's another easy way to add your your staff into the capability categories. Now we do have a couple of settings in the back which are really important for you to just double check that they're set. So if we go back to your setup on the right hand side, this time we're going to click on that spanner there, which is for configuration. Over on the left hand side, you can see there's another panel that's opened. At the moment, we're looking at the sales options. Underneath that, down near the bottom, we have a tab there called General. So I'm just going to click on General. And third from the top, we have another option called General. So I'm going to click on General again. Now, just to the right hand side of General, there are 2 options here that I need you to have ticked on. So I'll just very quickly explain these. So check for duplicate clients. Now this is to ensure that you don't have multiple clients or should I say, a client with multiple cards in your database. The first time a client books online, so they're an existing client in your Fusion, so their card already exists in your database here on this platform. The first time they book online, they create a second profile, which means they're going to have two profiles. Now, when you check that booking is correct, which is what I'm going to show you that anyway during this webinar, it will come up with a box saying, hey, it looks like we've already got this client. So you will need to action that box and not just ignore it. So I will show you what to do with that box. Then also, because we're going to have clients in our database and they've been there for a while, their information might not be up to date. So just where it says prompt for, oops, too much talking and not enough action there. See, we're going to prompt for client details every X amount of days, so you can do that. So if I just tick that box on, you see that all three of those boxes come on. Now, for the moment, during COVID, I would recommend that you keep all three of those boxes ticked on, which means for the immediate future, every time you go to see, you check on a client, book an appointment, or you just sort of go and sort of do any action regarding a client, the box will pop up saying, hey, we just want to check these details are correct. We can actually turn those off. And then from then on, you can actually be checking your client's details every 90 days. For example, you can change that to 30 days, but that just throws up a prompt if a client hasn't been in for that amount of time, and then it will just get you to double check those again. But I do recommend for the time being that you have all three of those ticked on. So they're just the two settings that we really need you to double check. Now, if I just go back to my slides, which seem to have done something crazy on my side here. So just bear with me while I reopen the slides. And there we go. So I'm just going to jump forward a few slides back to where we were. So just to recap, we had a look at the services and we checked that I didn't show you that actually. So let me just show you that again, sorry. So just to go back into services, I did point out the web column. What I should have done was just to open that up and just point that out actually, that's to make sure, there you go. So none of those cutting services are available at the moment, but if I tick those two on, those two will then be available for online booking. So just make sure that all those that you do need to be available for online booking are actually ticked on in that column. Then, just bear with me. Once we have dealt with your Fusion, we then need to go and make sure that we're ready for your online settings. So we need to configure all your online booking settings in your console. If you've forgotten your login details to console, that's fine. Just contact the help desk and they will help you to get into your console. Once you're in your console, we're going to have a look at the settings that you need to attend to there. Now, with the new COVID restrictions, it is a very good idea to remember then to put in your new information around, your requirements for clients coming into your salon, the cancellation policy that you might now have in place because of your online bookings, and any terms and conditions then you need to include to reflect your new policy. To configure all your upfront payments in your site settings in the console. So to do this, you'll need to set up a Stripe account. So Stripe is a little bit similar to some of the other sort of payment companies that you may have heard of. Basically, the client sets up, or you set up your account with Stripe. The client then pays and it goes to Stripe, and then Stripe will deposit that money into your account for you. Always remember to keep your server computer connected to the internet, turned on obviously with your shortcuts open. If your server is not turned on or your shortcuts isn't open, you're not connected to the internet, your online booking will not be working. The online booking does talk to your computer and does need that communication to be open. So you'll also need to be checking your online services connection, which is a little icon that you'll find in the bottom right-hand corner of the computer, but only on your server computer, not on any secondary computer. So I am just going to pull into here the console. So once you have got into your console, what you will see on the left-hand side here are two blue tiles, one for company settings, second one for site settings, and there's one in the middle here for book me settings. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to go quickly through each of these three just to point out sort of the most important areas for you to attend to. So if I just click on site settings there, pop in a logo. So please ensure that your logo is in there so that appears on your online booking page. Simply just click on choose file. That will open up the search into your hard drive and then just upload that image. You have your company name if your display name is what the client sees. If you want that to be slightly different to your company name, maybe it says PTY, LTD, and you don't want that to actually appear for what your clients are seeing, then you can just abbreviate that and pop into there a different name for your clients. You can choose a theme. This will be your online booking URL. So this is the URL that then you will take and you can apply to your website, to Facebook, Instagram, or any other social media platform, but that is the URL that you'll be taking. We're just going to come down here. If your online services do drop out, you will get an email from us. So by default, that's at 24 hours. I just recommend making that a little bit shorter. We're just going to keep scrolling down. Now, in terms of the email, so when a client books an appointment, they will receive an email from you just to confirm the time and day that appointment has been booked for. So what we recommend that you do is also include all the information, as much information as you need to get across to your clients, include that in the confirmation email body. So the heading for the email is what will appear obviously in the subject line, and then any information that you might want to put in here. So we've actually created a template which I've copied and pasted into this area for you, just so you can see that you can put quite a bit of information in there. Now, the template is on our website, so you will have a link to that as well in the email that you will be sent later. And then just moving down, you can obviously pop that into your terms and conditions as well. Please don't just rely on the client to go into the terms and conditions and read that, which is why we recommend that you pop that into the email as well as having it in your terms and conditions, because we can't rely on the client actually looking at those terms and conditions. And then there's other information you can just amend any of the other information to suit your business. We will always click on save on the right hand side when we make changes. We wait to say that save is successful. I'm just going to click on home there on the right hand side, and now I'm going to go into your site settings. So in your site settings now, again, we can pop a logo in there, but this logo actually isn't for your online booking platform. But if you do have My Local Salon or the app, then this logo will be viewed on those platforms. So I'm just going to move down. This is all to do with your shortcuts marketing, so we don't need to bother with that just for today. Do make sure that your phone number and address are correct. If when you get down here, you look at your business hours and you see that they're incorrect, your business hours are actually pulled from your Fusion. So if I just move that across for a second, just to remind you where those opening hours are located, underneath setup and configuration, over to the left-hand side, we're going to go down to that general tab again. And this time we're going to click on the second icon down, which says business. Over here to the right-hand side, you can see your opening hours. If you need to update those hours, I know a lot of people's hours have changed because of COVID at the moment, then please just update those hours on this page here. That will then update and they will show in your online console. Just as we move down a little bit, you can see here there's a blue button. Now, if this is not showing on your site settings, please contact the help desk and they will be able to turn that on for you, but it should be showing there for you if you have the latest version of Shortcuts. What you would do is just click on your Stripe and then you're going to enter your details for your Stripe accounts. Now, again, there will be a video for that, but so just to show you, just up here, I've just sort of kept a couple of pages just to show you. There's a video here to set up your Stripe upfront payments, and that will talk you through how you enter that information and also the rules around how you want that deposit system to work for you. Once you have done that, we're going to click on Save again on the right-hand side. And that save is successful. So let's just click on Home. Now the center tile, you can see that that's on. Just in there is some rules around how you might want to sort of set up your online booking. This is just how far into the future you want the client to be able to book, how many options for times you want the client to have, just the little settings like that. Now there is one particular setting that you do is really important. If your services need to be booked in a particular order, so let's just say, for example, you're a hair salon. The order in which a client chooses those services when they're booking will be the order they appear in the appointment book, unless you put a sequence number against them. So 0 just means we don't care when that is sort of booked or whereabouts in it is booked. So you can see at the minute cutting is 0. So that could be a problem because foiling and colouring, we want those to be always booked first. So if a client chooses a cut, what we need that to do is to go and let's put it at number 4. So it's a number that's higher there. So that's fine. So then if a client chooses the cutting before the colouring, it will just reorder that. So it appears in your appointment book in the correct order. So that is one area there that we really sort of suggest you take a look at just to make sure that they are set up so they appear correctly. When you've done that again, we're just going to click on Save. So just to recap, just to make sure all your online booking settings are correct in your console, adding the COVID-19 info that you need to be adding in there. You're going to be configuring your upfront payments, so your Stripe account there in your site settings. Remember to keep your server computer turned on and to check your online services connection. So to check your online services connection on your server, you'll come down to the taskbar. This is where you'll see all your programs that are running at the moment. They're all across the bottom. And then you'll have a little icon. You should have a little icon. You might not have that icon. You might just have all those hidden icons actually showing rather than being hidden. But if you do have this icon, please open that. Now you'll see here, you have a little colorful swirl just where my cursor is. Now that should look like that. Now, if it's not, or you just want to double check that everything's working anyway, just click on that icon. Now, this looks a little bit different because I have a demo computer here, so I'm not actually connected to online services. If I was, there would be a problem because I wouldn't be able to make any changes and do my demos. So I'm disconnected from being online, but you should, on where I have a red cross there at the top for online services, that should be a green tick. Then you'll have another tick for your communication server. Unless you're an enterprise client, you should have a red cross. So for most of you there, you'll have a red cross, like I say, unless you're an enterprise client, and then you'll have another green tick. Now, sometimes your online services drop out. If that does drop out there at the top where it says online services, we just come to the option that says open your shortcut service manager. You get another window that opens in the center of the screen there. We're just going to extend that open. You'll click on stop service, and after a few seconds, that will then change to say start service and you can reboot. And then hopefully these will all tick on again. If they don't all come back on for ticking, then please contact the help desk who will help you get your online services back online. Because if they're not, then clients won't be able to book online with you. So that's just to double check that your service icon down here is working. Just click on it and make sure you have the 3 green ticks. Anything other than a green tick means that something just needs to be attended to. All right, so that's just checking for your online services connection. Just going to get my slides back for you. So how to manage your online booking and upfront payments. So how to manage an online booking and upfront payment. So what a booking actually looks like in your appointment book when it is made. How to review that online booking and how to manage your upfront payments. Now, I can't actually show you how to manage your upfront payments, but there is a video for that. So if I just come out of those slides again, at the top, I'm just going to click on another tab there, and you'll see that there's a video that will take you through exactly how they're going to how you know a client has actually given you an upfront payment, and then how that applies at the point of sale. It actually is automatic for you anyway. It will just come off, but that video is just going to show you what to expect with that online prepayment. So I'm just going to minimize there. I'm going to go back into my Fusion. So you will have noticed when we first came in here that I had a yellow appointment there in the center of the page. Now I got rid of all the other appointments, so this is nice and easy for you to see. So this is what your online booking will look like. It will be yellow. And then what you'll need to do is to right click on that appointment, and you'll decide whether that appointment is okay. Now this appointment is for today, so I've got all the options that I would normally see for today. If I just go to tomorrow and I right click on tomorrow's appointment, I can confirm that appointment or review the appointment. Review it means that it's going to go from yellow and go back to being a normal color. So I've checked it, so I've reviewed it and I'm okay for that. Now that appointment might be in an awkward place. You might need to contact the client, so you might not want to review it yet until the client has confirmed a new appointment time that maybe you've just had to sort of just jiggle that around a little bit to make it fit in your appointment book better. To find those online bookings, so if you're thinking, do I have to go through here every single day looking for an appointment that might be yellow to check my online bookings? No, you don't. In the bottom left-hand corner, you'll notice there's an icon there that looks like a little funnel. So I'm just going to click on that. So what this option is for is essentially, how do you want to view your appointment book? So there's lots of different options there in how you want to view your appointment book. But the fourth one up from the bottom says review. So what I'm going to tell the system is I want to see all the appointments in my appointment book that need reviewing. So that's those yellow appointments. So when I click on that, you'll see there's a few dates that have appeared down underneath. So if I click on Thursday the 21st, you can see that it's taking me to that day and I can see where that appointment is. If I just click on close, then all I need to do is go, yes, that's fine. I right click on the appointment and I review or confirm. Now, if you confirm that appointment, you need to remember that any appointments that are confirmed in your appointment book will not be receiving a confirmation text because they're already confirmed. So if you still want them to receive that confirmation text, always choose reviewed. And then that will go back to the booked color, which means that client will now get a confirmation text. So we're just going to go back down to that filter in the bottom left corner. Now to open that filter up again without removing the filter, we're going to right click on our mouse. That opens that up for us. Now we're going to go to Friday. We've got another one there. So I'm going to click on Friday. I'm going to click on close again there at the top. So now we've got Amy. Amy's booked in with Jemima. What I'm going to do, I'm going to right click on that appointment. I'm going to say that that appointment is fine, and I'm going to click on reviewed. So what's happened, this is Amy's first booking online, and she's booked, she's created her online profile, but we already have her in the system. So now it's flagged it because what it's picked up on is Amy Salter being the same name. If it was the same mobile number, that would also flag. So sometimes what you could have is the same last name and same phone number, and it could be a family member booking for another family member. So sometimes it is a different client, but it will flag it as a potential duplicate. So the three options we have on the left are at the top here, we have keep this client, merge with the existing client card, and ask me later there at the bottom. Now don't use ask me later because that is then going to create a duplicate client. So it's one of these top two. Now keep the client means that it's a different family member, for example. So you just have a look at the first name. So you can see here that this is exactly the same client. So I'm going to click on merge, so this second option. What that's going to do then, it's going to merge all the information together, and we're going to have one appointment card for that client. Just going to get rid of that. Then to remove that filter, so remember to open that filter up without removing it is a right click. To remove that filter is a left click. That's it then, and it just goes back to being your normal appointment book. So now Amy only has one client card, she doesn't have two. Now you may want to check as well your merging, so that's another video that we have for merging. The merging feature we have, so to go through your database, making sure at this moment in time you don't have any duplicates in there, is to click on clients on the right hand side, and then there's an option just near the bottom here that says merge. You're going to click on merge, and that will then come up with the merge feature. Because if you have a duplicate and you use one card to record that client's visit, but then they have another card as well, that could be confusing if you're then trying to locate that client if the information is different. So just to recap, you now know what your online booking is going to look like. It's going to look yellow. You can now search for that online booking easily without having to move from day to day. You can review that online booking. That's by right-clicking and clicking review. Remember, if you click confirm, they will not receive a confirmation text message. And there will be a video for you to have a look at later in regards to what does it look like when a client actually has paid upfront through the online booking feature. So all that's left to do now for you is to promote this to your clients. So how are you going to do that? So on our website, again, you're going to have some templates. Now, we have some links here as well. So these are clickable. So when you receive the email, you can click on these for you. So we have the privacy policy down here at the bottom. So I'm just going to use this as an example for you just to go in there and have a look, because we did use that, and I mentioned that one earlier. So that's just going to open up the website there. So we've got a cancellation policy template, which you're quite welcome to use. So all I simply did was copy that text there, and then I pasted it into the confirmation email. You'll notice we have the COVID-19 area there at the top. So there's still loads of information in there on all sorts of features or areas that you might need to address with your clients around COVID-19. But for today, we've also added in there everything that you're going to be sort of needing for today to set up your online booking and your upfront payments. Just going to minimize that. So if anyone has any questions, hopefully that was okay. I tried to sort of go at a really nice pace because I do have a habit of talking quite quickly. So hopefully that was easy for you to follow. So if anyone has any questions, do you want to just pop those into the chat box for me? And hopefully I can clear any of those questions up for you. I'll just wait for a second. If there are no questions, then that's good. That means that hopefully you understood everything I was saying, which is always a good thing for me. Yep, there's no questions come through, which is good. So just to recap, remember everything I took you through. Oh, okay. So on my console, what is the My Salon app for? The My Salon app is for your My Salon app. So if you're on the Elevate package, which is the package that includes all the features that we have available to you from Shortcuts, the My Salon app is something you can put together. They go to the App Store, they download the app, and they can actually book appointments through that app as well. Now, at the moment, I would just focus on your normal online booking platform, because that is where you can give the most information to your client. Someone's put their hand up. So that's all good. So let's just go have a look through. No other questions at the moment. Okay, so thank you for attending this morning. There is a lot for you to do, so I do advise that you take it in small chunks and deal with one thing at a time. So those steps that I went through, looking at Fusion first, making sure that that's all set up for you, then go to your console and deal with that. Remember to pop in your sequence numbers as well to make sure that those come through correctly. And then to just make sure that you're familiar with how those appointments come through, making sure that all your staff know that if that window appears for a duplicate client, just to make sure that they know to actually attend to that duplicate, whether it is a duplicate or whether it's just another family member, for example, and not just clicking ask me later. So I do have, what's the app the clients download again, please? They download the My Salon app or a My Beauty app, but that needs to be part of your package. I can't go into that today because it would just be another, it's just a whole other class in itself. Now we do have classrooms on our website, so I'm just going to take you to our website again very quickly just to show you. me just open up. I'm going to bring that over. If you go to support here at the top of the page, just go to shortcuts.com.au. You will see our homepage. You go to support there at the top. And we have our Learning Center. Inside the Learning Center, there are loads and loads of videos. So we're going to click on Fusion. And inside Fusion are loads of videos. So in terms of what you might need today, client management for today's session, moving down, there's a bit of configuration there. I don't really think you need that one for today. Just moving down, employee management to check that your employees are all good for your online booking. Just going to move down, keep coming down here. There's your My Salon mobile guest app. So just to answer the question there, if you go in there, there are some videos around what that app is and how it works. You have online booking here as well. So I do recommend you go to your online booking here, just for those videos that are available to help you with your online booking. Also, if we go to support again up at the top, we do have our online classrooms, so they're in there as well. So just have a look if you want to come along to any of those classrooms, just register. It'll probably be me again, so if you're not sick of hearing my voice today, you'll be able to hear it again in one of those classrooms. So they're all there for you at the moment, just to go to as many of those classrooms as you would like. If there's no other questions, I will wrap up for today. Just keep an eye out for that email later. Check your junk mail in case it goes into there, but you will be receiving all that information to help you. All right, so thank you for joining me today. Good luck with everything, and all the best, because it is a bit trying at the moment. So, we're doing everything we can to sort of help you along. So hopefully you are finding a benefit in our webinars and our videos and everything that we're trying to do to help you through this unsure period. So, like I said, all the best, and hopefully I will chat to you again soon. Thank you.